It's the holidays, baby. Let's get this conversation started. Lots to unpack today. A lot of stressful situations taking place over the next 3 weeks and beyond. A lot of joy to be spread. How do we make sure that that scale doesn't get out of whack with stress outweighing the joy? That's what we're talking about today.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Grit Meets Growth podcast, where we bring you inspiration and insights focused on getting uncomfortable, making things happen, and creating a magnetic life. If you enjoy the messages you're hearing here, please leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes of the podcast. With that, let's get after it. Well, I'm just saying, I think when you talk about people right now, there's a lot of people in the market that we end up having conversations with. And I think we have conversations with a lot of higher level people that are thinking differently than this, but there's plenty of other people that are like, the world sucks. Everything sucks. Nothing's good. There's a lot of challenges and we're going to be just have a bad attitude about everything. We're not going to be driven. We're just going to give up and toss it to the wind. I mean, there's a lot of that going on.
Absolutely. I mean, that you summed it up perfectly. That is exact, and I think even the folks that think they're doing well are experiencing some of that. Like that thought is in the back of my head off. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, just throw it in, throw the towel in. What are we doing? And then the other side of me takes over and goes, dude, smack you upside the head going, seriously, pull your head out of your ass. Yeah, it'd be easy to throw in the towel. But why? Why? Why throw in the towel? Go back and think about what your purpose is. Go back and think about your why. Why do you get up every day? You have a gift every day that you wake up and open your eyes. That's God's gift to you every day. You get to take advantage of it every single day. Let's talk about what's going to happen over the course of this next month. There's some serious stress, serious joy that is going to be mixed together into this pot that's going to leave us in that place even worse than we're feeling right now of, am I good? Am I bad? Do I want to throw the towel in? Am I thankful? It's a it's a Molotov cocktail that's going to blow up. How do we deal with that?
Well, and where you're going with that, like you think about it, coming out of Thanksgiving, we did the episode on gratitude a couple of weeks ago. If you didn't listen to that episode, you should go listen to it. And you should start thinking about how you take gratitude and you pull it out of Thanksgiving and you just make it part of who you are. But now we're coming out of Thanksgiving and we're coming into that holiday season where Christmas is coming, holiday parties are coming. Everyone's going to be tugging at you for your time and your energy. You're trying to end the year well in your business, whatever your role is. If you own a business or you have a role in a business, all the pressure starts to mount up. Like you're talking like Molotov cocktail. That's what it feels like for a lot of people. All the pressure starts to mount up. And how do we walk through that?
Dude, we got 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and all of this stuff's going to get jammed right together. Trying to finish the year strong, as you mentioned in your business. You're trying to spread some holiday joy, right, with your friends and your clients and folks out there. We have 3 weeks, man. That stress level is going to go through the roof.
And in the middle of that, how do you try to be present? How do you try and not just get through it? Because I've had years in the past where I'm like, I just got to get through the next 3 weeks. That's a crappy way to approach the next 3 weeks. And I'm saying this as somebody who's been there and has lived that out, where I just got to get through the next 3 weeks. And once Christmas comes, I'm just going to be able to take a breath and be done.
Yeah. So to bring a little calm back to this situation, right? We have to be mindful, right? We have to be mindful of those things that are that are going to come at us in the next 3 weeks and beyond, right? I mean, it's kind of the world we're living in a little bit today, right? But we got to be mindful. I think we need there's some time, as fast paced as the next 3 weeks is going to be, as much as the stress is going to be coming at us, there is a lot of joy in there as well, but really slowing down. Take that moment to give some critical thought. Why am I here? What am I doing? What are my goals? How was the last year? What do I want to accomplish next year? And sit down and do some of that. I mean, journaling, you've brought up journaling a couple of times this week within the social media realm, right? And journaling is important, right? It gives us a process and a way to document those thoughts. And I think the way you laid that out and the way Westrom lays it out, right, in categorically, and maybe you want to chat through that a little bit, is key to really establishing kind of that mindfulness, right? It's the ability to write it down. It's the ability for you to review it the next day when you've moved on, or 2 days later and you've moved on. And man, I was really feeling good on Tuesday. What was going on? What was happening in my mind, right? So tell us a little bit about that process, Jen.
Well, and it's something you and I have had conversations with Eric Westrom, and he's got his book, Becoming Elite. And in that book, he talked about kind of a mindset around journaling. And when you talk about mindfulness, you used the word mindful earlier. Being mindful is a mindset. And my mindset around journaling was that I don't journal. I've tried it 100 times. I'm not good at it. I just don't do it. And it's a paradigm that I fought with for a long time. I'm not a journaler. It's too hard. And it's for other people. And one of the things that Eric talked about in the book was there's a way to simplify that. And so now what I do is every morning I wake up and I pop the journal open and I just write, yesterday, what went well? Body, mind, spirit, and emotion. And then yesterday, another set of lines. What could have gone better? Body, mind, spirit, emotion. And every one of those categories, I have to write one thing down. And you've seen a little bit of how I do this. Other people have seen it. I'm not writing a paragraph about each one of them. It's a bullet point. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 words, just enough for me to get it out of my head and onto paper. And there are times then where I'll journal a little bit more about one of those topics. There are a lot of other days where that's my journaling for the day. Like I'll get in there, I'll write something in each one of those categories. It takes me 5 minutes, and that's my journaling for the day. And what's been good about it is it gets it out of my head. It allows me to have my thoughts and wrestle with them a little bit. But then the other thing is at the end of the week or at the end of a couple of weeks, I can go back and I can look for some patterns in there. Like I wrote down physically that what could have gone better this last week is I could have gotten to the gym or I could have been more active. And I wrote that down 3 times, 4 times, 5 times over the course of 2 weeks. That's a pretty good signal that I need to change that if I want to change my results. And on the other side of it, I can do exactly what you were talking about. I can look at this and I can say, that felt really good when I wrote that down. And I wrote that down a couple of times this last week. I should do more of that. It has simplified journaling and awareness for me in a way that has changed the game. And it, like I said, it gives me space to get stuff out of my head.
Yeah. And in my opinion, that grounds us in that mindfulness, right? Because mindfulness isn't a stress reducer. It's not about stress reduction. It's really about fostering overall mental well-being. And the way that you're doing that through the journaling is really to you're connecting, right? Your mind to your hand, you're putting it on paper, you're able to come back to it. Just as you said, you're able to review that. Oh, I've written this down a couple of times. Wow, this must be impacting me in some way, negative or positive. And now I need to make some change and adjust that, right? And over the course of time, the goal is to be better. What about expectations, right? If we're really thinking about the stress and the joy and really trying to focus on not letting the joy be outweighed by the stress, We're trying to find that balance, or at least have more joy than stress in our life over the next 3 weeks. How can we set some realistic expectations to to do that?
I think one of the things is you're talking about that. This picture, there used to be, and you might know what I'm talking about when I say this. There used to be a punishment that they would inflict called being drawn and quartered. And you would have a rope tied to this arm and a rope tied to this arm and a rope tied to your legs, and they would just increase the pressure on each, and they would stretch you till you popped, which is pretty aggressive, right? That's how this season can feel sometimes. If we don't set expectations and we don't set some boundaries for our time and our energy, there's plenty of times where over the course of a day, even, it can feel like we're being drawn and quartered. Somebody wants me over here. Family needs my attention over here. Work needs me over here. And they're pulling in different directions sometimes. And that can feel really hard. So I think one of the things is setting some boundaries. Like, I can't be everything to everybody. I can't be everywhere during the holidays. I got to pick where I'm going to put my energy. So,
right. Because you are going to be pulled. There's going to be multiple parties going on the same day. You can't be at all of them. You're going to have to pick some prioritization. And you mentioned energy, and I'm kind of big on energy. I'm big on bringing energy, but I'm also big on protecting my energy. I'm going to be really careful about where I spend my time over the next 3 weeks, so that I don't go into places that my energy is going to be sucked out of me, right? Kind of that whole fill your bucket kind of idea. Surround yourself with the people that fill your bucket. That's my goal for the next 3 weeks. Be surrounded by folks that fill my bucket, and whose bucket I fill, right? It's a give and take. I don't want to go. I'm avoiding any energy suck situations, family or otherwise, right? Family, work related, whatever it happens to be. I'm avoiding energy suck.
the other piece to that too is you have to be able to prioritize. You, like, when you have two places you're supposed to be, you have to be able to prioritize and really think through where you're going to put that energy. An example of that, got a choir concert coming up for Riley. He's a senior. It's going to be his last choir concert, his last Christmas choir concert. Well, he's still in high school. I missed his choir concert in October when I was in Nepal. So I've already missed one. It's important for me to be at this one. I've got someplace else I'm supposed to be that same night. I got to pick. And I have to be able to prioritize between the two and say, I can't be in two places at once. Here's what's most important to me today. And here's what I can't get back, because that's the other piece to this is there are opportunities that are going to be in front of you that you can't get back. And there are going to be opportunities that you could recreate in January. Like the thing I'm going to miss, I could probably go back and recreate that in January and it'd be just fine. The choir concert, not going to get it back.
Totally. And you have to be able to adapt to those situations, right? Changes that come up on the day, right? I mean, best laid plans can get blown up. And you have to be able to adapt in those situations and be able to shift your priorities. If you know what your priorities are going into the month, into the year, let's talk about it in bigger. It's not just the next 3 weeks, right? This is stuff you could use the entire year, the rest of your life. But being able to adapt to those situations when things come up and prioritizing, you might have to prioritize on the fly. Things are going to change. Being okay with that, right? It doesn't have to be perfect.
When you talk about being okay with things, there's a piece of this that requires us to give ourselves personally as a human a little bit of grace. Like, if you can't be everywhere and you can't be everything to everyone during the holidays or in life in general, you're going to have to give yourself some grace and say, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with the amount of energy I can bring. And there are times where I'm not going to give energy to other people, but I'm going to invest energy in myself to get to the gym, to spend some time outside, to do like the journaling. Like, I think one of the things that we fight against is through the holidays and whenever, we want to be there for everybody else, which is awesome. I think a lot of people who are listening to this have like a servant attitude. They want to serve the people around them. They want to bring good energy. But sometimes you need to step back and say, I need to give myself a little bit of energy so that I can give it away. And that's, I think, taking care of yourself in this season is really important. And there's a lot of ways to do that, but not putting yourself at the bottom of the list is the least unselfish thing you can do.
Dude, you should be at the top of the list always. Always. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. You have to be number one priority at all times. It goes back to the same scenario. We've talked about this before, right? It's the lifeguard. If you're a lifeguard and you're trying to save somebody from drowning, you have to make sure you don't drown in that process. Because if you drown, there's no way you can save them, right? If there's harm in between you and getting that person to the beach, you put them between you and the harm. If you're on an airplane, what's the thing that they talk about with the oxygen mask? Put yours on first so that you can then help others put theirs on. It's the same scenario. You have to take care of yourself first. We have to get out of that attitude that others come first. We come first so that I can provide the greatest energy, the greatest to those others, right? The greatest whatever. But I have to be in a place to be able to do that. And this month is going to be tough, right? Because there's going to be food everywhere. And I'm a foodie. It's a struggle for me. I've been there. I've been the fat kid. I've been the kid that eats all of the cookies. You're going to have to find a way to get through that. You got to be mindful about your eating. You know, I learned this lesson from my daughter here recently, and I'm laughing because I don't know why I didn't realize this sooner, right? You know, when we take a bite of something we really enjoy, piece of pie, ice cream, a cookie, it's really only those first 2-3 bites that we really enjoy and savor. The rest of it just becomes mindless, right? And we just keep going. And she taught me to really look at just taking those 3 bites, putting the lid on the ice cream, putting it away. Take one cookie, savor the flavor of it, and be done. Have that piece of pie and enjoy it. Take a half a piece instead of a full piece. Right? Whatever that happens to be, however you want to handle that. But just know that it's up to you to make those conscious decisions and choices. Because there's going to be consequences on the other side if you don't. Right? We can't we have to take care of ourselves, right? Back to the same thing. We have to take care of ourselves first.
That applies in so many areas too. I'm going back to the 3 bites thing, because this will not apply to taking care of ourselves. But I used to have a pack a day smoking habit, and the first drag off a cigarette was the best drag. Second or third were pretty good. The rest of the cigarette wasn't really that awesome. It was the first couple that you were like, I like that. And it's the same with the cookies. It's the same, like, make your list. Might be the same with a drink for you. Like, first couple sips, awesome. And then you like, the experience is different after the first couple. So being mindful of all of those intakes you have over the course of the next handful of weeks and into next year, being mindful of that and controlling it. And you get to decide. You are actually in control. That bag of chips, you don't have to eat the whole freaking thing. The ice cream, you don't have to eat all the ice cream. Like, you get to control that, but you got to practice some mindfulness and some control as you approach these things.
Your mind and your body is the most powerful tool you have. Those are the most powerful tools in your tool belt. You got to take care of them. You can't accomplish anything by neglecting them. You just can't. Take care of your physical, your fitness, your body, your mind, and it will be there to provide for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your business. That's the foundation of your life, right? We could talk about all of this stuff. None of it matters if I can't get my mind and my body right. It's foundation.
Somebody brought this up the other day where they were talking about they've got a physical goal that they're working on right now, and they were talking about how one of the reasons that they're working on this goal is it's a dude our age, and he said it pretty perfectly. He's like, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to plateau, and I'm physically not going to be able to gain muscle, gain endurance, and make gains the way I can today. But until I reach that point, I'm going hard. I'm going to do everything I can until I reach the point that I can't. And I think that mindset of I'm not going to leave anything on the table. And you got to give yourself some grace in there. I totally get that. But also, you're going to hit a spot where your body is naturally, we're all going to hit it, where your body's naturally going to start to deplete and decline. You don't have to take that deplete and decline and start it too early. Like,
hell no. Dude, you don't have to accept that at all. You don't have to accept that. My dad's 73 years old. He still goes to the gym 3 days a week. 3 days a week. He still does over 300 sit-ups a week at 73 years old. The dude's rocking a six-pack. You don't have to do, like, society sets these standards out there. You don't have to abide by any of those. It's all what's up here. That number is just a number, dude. And the older I get and the closer I get to 50, that number is just a number. Because I'll tell you what, I feel better today than I did at 40. I feel better today than I did at 30. My goal was to be in the best shape of my life heading at 50 years old. And I'm getting damn close. It hasn't been easy. Been some ups and downs. There will continue to be. That's life, right? But the key is to not let it knock you down. Stay focused. Man, get knocked down, stand back up, brush yourself off, right? We had that instilled in us as Gen X. Right? You get knocked down, you just brush yourself off and you keep on going.
Part of it is too, deciding that you're going to do the hard work before the hard work is in front of you. Like, you got to decide today that tomorrow morning when the alarm clock goes off, you're waking up. Make the decision right now that you're going to do the hard, uncomfortable things before they're even in front of you. So that when they're in front of you, you're ready to rock.
You want to start a new habit? And I highly encourage people to start today. Whatever it is. Guess what? Come Christmas, that habit is established. On average, we talk about it. I mean, there's numbers all over the place. 21 days has been the number that, has been out there for a long time. It takes 21 days to establish some sort of habit. That it becomes easy. Right? That wasn't an editing. That was on purpose. Easy. Start today. Don't wait. If fitness is your thing and you're going to get in the gym, don't wait till January 1. Place is going to be mobbed. Start now. Figure out what the best time to go is. If you don't want to go when the teenagers are there, don't go in the afternoon. If you don't want to go when it's busy after work, then don't go then. Go later or go early in the morning, right? Either get in before 3 o'clock or after 9:30, right? If you're in a 24-hour deal. Figure out what's going to work for you and make it work. You get this month. Man, you will be so far ahead of all those people that start January 1. You want to start reading a book every day? Start reading 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day is really nothing. It takes no time at all. Do you want to see the impact of journaling? Start today. Think of how much data you will have to be able to reflect on come Christmas. Start today.
I think everybody should punch rewind on that. About a minute and a half is what I'm going to guess it is, because you said something that it was a Bradley bomb drop, and it was easy. All that stuff you were just talking about, all those things you want to start, and we all have a list. Like, you're coming into January, I want to start this, I want to do this, I want to do that. First of all, to your point, don't wait. There's no reason to wait. January 1 is a date on the calendar. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a day, just like every other day. Today is the day that's a perfect day to start. What are you waiting for? But the second piece with easier, don't expect it to be easy. You want to accomplish something great. You want to make a change. You want to make a transition. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to do some hard stuff. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. We talk about uncomfortable all the time. If you expect to make a transformation in any area, work, professional, family, relationships, kids, fitness, whatever it is, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to hit a spot where it's uncomfortable. You're going to hit a spot where you want to quit, you want to give up, too hard, don't feel like it, bored, whatever your deal is. It's not going to be easy. It will get easier over time. It's not ever going to be easy. The good stuff isn't.
Takes grit. Find your grit. Find your grit during this holiday season. Use it. Use it to be able to adapt in the face of unexpected changes and challenges. It's going to come at you this month. It's going to come at you this year. The challenges are always going to be there, right? Somebody said to me the other day, oh, life's hard. There's all kinds of challenges in life. Guess what? It's supposed to be. That's where we grow. We grow in those hard times. Embrace it and find a way to keep driving beyond it. That's grit.
You shared that song with me before we started here, Make It Happen. And the line in that song that I wrote down, you want something, you got to go out and get it, baby. Make it happen.
Yeah, that the record company. It's a band called The Record Company. The song is Make It Happen. It's a perfect song to support this conversation. And I'll be honest with you, people, give it a listen. And if it doesn't elevate your energy, then I got nothing for you. So bring the energy, start today, bring mindfulness to this holiday season. Work on yourself, start those habits, and enjoy the season. Knowing that everything doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to put on the perfect party. I don't have to wear the perfect shirt. I don't have to wear the perfect dress. Show up, bring your energy. That's what people will remember.
What I love about that, do more than just get through the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
Finish it strong, you guys.
Embrace it. It's a season of joy. And as we talked about on the last episode, there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be joyous about. Spread the joy. Do the work. And get out there and get after it. Make it a great day.
Appreciate these conversations, man. Thank you.
Back at you.
That wraps it up for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the Grit Meets Growth tribe. And thanks for growing along with us and being part of this journey together. If you know someone who needs to hear the conversation we had today, please share it. If you got something out of this conversation, please leave us a review. And finally, if you want to make sure you don't miss future episodes, just remember to subscribe. We're thankful for each and every one of you. And as my co-host and good friend Chris Cathers always says, make it a great day.